Tomorrow is election day, so be sure to vote and answer our 10 trivia questions on VP to President. Let's get after it. Hello, and welcome to another episode of No Chit Chat Trivia, the trivia podcast with less talk and more trivia. Tomorrow is election day here in the United States, so if there are candidates that you believe will make our country better, be sure to go out and vote for them tomorrow. This week, we might see something that has only happened once previously in the history of the United States, which would be a president elected to 2 non-consecutive terms. The only president that has done that so far is Grover Cleveland. Or we might see something that is the theme of today's episode, which is a vice president becoming president. All of the answers today are, in fact, a vice president that has become president. I'm going to give you the name of the president that they served vice president under and the year that they became POTUS. Let's get into it. The first question today is, what vice president of Barack Obama became president in 2021? What vice president of Barack Obama became president in 2021? Question number 2. What vice president of George Washington became president in 1797? What vice president of George Washington became president in 1797? Number 3. What vice president of Ronald Reagan became president in 1989? What vice president of Ronald Reagan became president in 1989? Question number 4. What vice president of Richard Nixon became president in 1974? What vice president of Richard Nixon became president in 1974? Number 5. What vice president of William McKinley became president in 1901? What vice president of William McKinley became president in 1901? Question number 6. What vice president of John Adams became president in 1801? What vice president of John Adams became president in 1801? Number 7. What vice president of James Garfield became president in 1881? What vice president of James Garfield became president in 1881? Question number 8. What vice president of Dwight Eisenhower became president in 1969? What vice president of Dwight Eisenhower became president in 1969? Number 9. What vice president of Andrew Jackson became president in 1837? What vice president of Andrew Jackson became president in 1837? And our last one today, number 10. What vice president of William Henry Harrison became president in 1841? What vice president of William Henry Harrison became president in 1841? Those were our VP to President questions. We'll be right back to see if you knew those POTUSes.
It took a lifetime to find the person you want to marry. Finding the perfect engagement ring is a lot easier. At BlueNile.com, you can find or design the ring you've always dreamed of with help from Blue Nile's jewelry experts who are on hand 24/7 to answer questions, and the ease and convenience of shopping online. For a limited time, get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code POD at BlueNile.com. That's $50 off with code POD at BlueNile.com.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Welcome back. We're getting into our answers. Our first question was, number one, what vice president of Barack Obama became president in 2021? He is currently the president of the United States of America. He is Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Number two, what vice president of George Washington became president in 1797? The man that followed up George Washington to become the second president ever of the United States of America, he is John Adams. John Adams. Question number three, what vice president of Ronald Reagan became president in 1989? This president would be George H.W. Bush. George H.W. Bush. The fourth question was, what vice president of Richard Nixon became president in 1974? That Richard Nixon VP to president was Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford. Question number five, what vice president of William McKinley became president in 1901? Little fun fact, William McKinley is my great-grandfather's uncle. Yeah, so we're loosely related. His VP that became president after his assassination was Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt. Number six, what vice president of John Adams became president in 1801? He became the third president of the United States. He is Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson. Question number seven, what vice president of James Garfield became president in 1881? This VP to president was Chester Arthur. Chester Arthur. Number eight, what vice president of Dwight Eisenhower became president in 1969? This one is the aforementioned Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon. Question number nine, what vice president of Andrew Jackson became president in 1837? The man that followed the future face of the $20 bill was Martin Van Buren. Martin Van Buren. And lastly, number 10, what vice president of William Henry Harrison became president in 1841? And the last answer today is John Tyler. John Tyler. That's it for today. Be sure to get out and vote this week to help our country become the best it could possibly be. All right, until next time, let's remember to be kind to each other. Peace.
This is a PSA, or public sock announcement. Experts have declared Bombas socks as the best way to warm up chilly feet. These pairs are super cushy, soft, and designed for maximum coziness. Plus, for every pair purchased, another pair will be donated, so someone in need of essential clothing can stay warm this winter. Go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.